Thank you very much. Let me welcome you to MedZone African Motives. We are going to be still on economic and management science, grade 9, term 1, revision. So we are still under economy. So this time around now we're going to look at the paragraph type questions. Paragraph type questions. So that is that. So the topic is system, economic systems. So we are under a planned economy. So that is that. So the first question says, discuss the characteristics of planned economy. Discuss the characteristics of planned economy. So here are the answers. The first one says, government owns land, natural resources, factories, and the farms. So what that means is that it means that the government owns land, factories, farms, and natural resources. So, for example, the example that we can give is that the government owns all coal mines in the country. So that. Also, it says people are not allowed to own property. So individuals cannot privately own business or land. Individuals cannot privately own business or land. For example, a person cannot own private farm. It belongs to the state. So that is that. So let us move on. Let us move on. Government decides what should be produced and how it should be sold for. So that is that. Decides what should be produced and how it should be sold for. So that is that. The state decides what goods and services must be produced and how they will be sold. For example, the government decides how much maize must be produced each year. So that is that. That's what it means. Workers don't have a choice about what they want to do. So here workers, they do not have any chance. So workers do not choose their jobs, in short. Workers do not choose their jobs. So the government decides where people will work. That is why we're saying they don't have any choice. So a person may be assigned to work in a factory instead of becoming a teacher. So it means the government is the one that decides. So also, government gives workers everything they need to live, including their food. So, meaning to say, government provides basic needs. Government provides what? Basic needs. As the government supplies food, housing, and healthcare. So that is that. So examples of countries with planned economies: Cuba, Libya, India, China, North Korea, Iran, as well as Saudi Arabia. So these are the countries that go for planned economy, where the government is the one that does everything. So that is that. So now let us move on to market economy now. Market economy. Discuss the characteristics of a market economy. Discuss the characteristics of market economy. So that is that. So as it says, market economy aim of business is to make a profit under market economy. Aim of business is to make profit. They are profit oriented. So business aim to make profit. So the main goal of business is to make what? A profit, is to make money. So that is that. So it further on say entrepreneur decides what goods and services to produce. So meaning to say we are saying business owners choose which goods and services to produce. For example, a baker decides to produce cakes instead of bread. So here they can decide, unlike with a planned economy. So that is that. So again, business and people borrow money from banks. So people and business borrow money from banks. So they borrow capital to start or expand their business. That is under market economy. A farmer can take a bank loan to buy a tractor. That is what we are trying to say. Workers can choose what work to do and who they want to work for. So here the workers choose their jobs, unlike in a planned economy where the government is the one that decides. They don't have any choice. But with market economy, they have choice. Workers have choice. People decide where and what they want to work as. A person can choose to work as a nurse instead of a cashier. So that's a good thing about what market economy. So consumers or government and business spend money on goods and services. So that is that we are saying consumers or government and business spend money on goods and services. Government earns money from taxes, we know. So the government collects tax from individuals and businesses. So that is that. So workers and business makes money from producing goods and services. So that is that workers makes money from producing goods and services. And government makes money from taxes, or like we have already said, government earns money from taxes. Sorry, this is the point that we have to talk about. So they collect taxes from individuals and businesses. That's how they make money. So now let us quickly go to a mixed economy now. Let us be under mixed economy, where now the question says, discuss the characteristics of mixed economy. So as it says, private individuals own and control the factors of production. Individuals and business can own land and companies. For example, a person owns a private supermarket. So that is that. Entrepreneurs decide what to produce. So if in this one, entrepreneurs, they're going to decide what and how to produce. So owners make production decisions. Entrepreneurs decide how to produce. So we are saying entrepreneurs choose goods and services. So here we are saying entrepreneurs decide how to produce. So they are the ones who decides how they are going to make products and services. Individuals decide which goods and services will be used. So we are saying individuals are the ones who decide which goods and services will be used. Capital comes from banks, shareholders, the government through spending of taxes. So here we're talking about the capital now that it comes from the banks, or shareholders or the government. That's how they sometimes get their capital for them to start their business. So they can get it from the banks, they can take loans, or they can get it from shareholding, as well as the government through spending of taxes. Government spend taxes on education, housing, and clean water. So that is that. Uh, Government provides public services. Government provides public services. So government uses tax money to provide services like we have talked about housing, cleaning of water, as well as education. So that is that. So also South African economy is a mixed economy. So South African economy is a mixed economy. So it's not a planned economy or market economy. It's a mixed economy where government has an interference. So that is that. So let us move on to another question. Let us move on to another question. Here we are under secular flow. We are under secular flow. We are under secular flow. So here we are under secular flow. So the question says, briefly discuss the role of participant in the secular flow. Briefly discuss the role of participant in the secular flow. So the participants are households, business, the government. So let's first start by the household. Let us first start by households. As it says, all people that live together and make economic decisions. These are the characteristics of the household. All people that live together and make economic decisions. So households are people who live together and make financial decisions. For example, a family decides how to spend their monthly income. That is that. Primary consumer of goods and services. These are the households. They buy goods and services. So that's that. They are the owners of factors of production and have an influence on what the business produce. What the business produce. So they are the owners of the factors of production because they provide labor, land, and capital. For example, a person works at a factory and they earns wages. That is that. They receive an income. That is when you would rent, salaries, interest, and profit by making the factors of production available to business and government. So they receive income, they earn salaries, rent, interest, and profit. So that is that. Households pay tax to the government. So they pay tax. They pay tax to the government. A worker pays an income tax. So that is what it means. So now let us come to business now. Businesses. Let us be on businesses. So businesses, as it says, business use the factors of production to produce goods and services. So business, you know very well that they use factors of production like they can use land, they can use labor, capital to produce what? To produce goods. So that is that. For example, a factory uses workers and machines to make cars. That is why we are saying they use factors of production for them to produce goods and services. They sell goods and services on the product market. So they sell products on the market, a shop selling clothing. So that is that. Also, economical active members of households provide factors of production. So we are saying economically active members of households provide what? They provide factors of production. So that is that. Business provide and produce usable goods and services for shops, office factories, and mines. So they provide usable goods and services. They produce goods for society. So that is that. For example, a bakery produce bread for the society. Business pay tax to the government. So business pay company tax to government. So that is that. So now let us go to the government. Let us go straight to government. So with government now, as it is levels of government, central, provincial, and local government. So here we're talking about central, provincial, local government manage the countries. They manage the country. So we know very well that local governments collect municipal rates. So that is that. That's how they manage what? The country. Produce goods and services. For example, education, health, security, and services. Security services. So meaning to say they provide public goods and services. They provide education, health, and security. So you find that the governments, they run public hospital, etc. Make use of factors of production. So they use what? Factors of production. Use of factors of production. As you know, government hire workers and uses land. So that is why we're saying they make use of factors of production. The government buy goods and services from business. For example, motor vehicles. So government buys from businesses. So that is that government can buy police vehicles from the business. That is that. The government provide public goods and services to households and businesses. So they provide service to households and businesses. Public service, as you know, that public service is going to benefit everyone. So now let us be on foreign sector. Let us be on foreign sector. So with foreign sector, it says imports, imports from other countries. So meaning to say buying from other countries. Like to say South Africa imports electronics from China. So that is That when you are talking about the foreign sector. Exports to other countries. So selling goods to other countries. South Africa exports gold. Make payments for imports, that is expenditure. So they make payments for the imports. So money flows out of the country. So that is that. Receive money for exports. Now we're talking about what? Income. We're talking about the income. So that is money flows into the country. So that is that. So this is the end of this presentation. Thank you very much for your time. Please share with others. Thank you.